before I tell you what I think, my dear Douglas, assessing where you are right now at 50, wanting to retire in just 17 years from now, if you were going to give yourself a grade, what grade would you give yourself?
I would give myself an A- for most improved, but the reality of my situation is I would still have to give myself, at best, a D+. Hi, Susie. I'm 50 and single. During my younger years, I lived footloose and fancy-free. I roamed the world without any thought of my older years, and now I see retirement isn't far away. Although I have a savings plan, I know I'm going to need more. I currently work as a school counselor in Alaska. However, my goal is to retire at 67 and move back to the lower 48. Susie, how am I doing?
Good evening, my dear Douglas. How are you tonight?
Fine, Susie. This is an awesome experience. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Anytime. So you know, I've looked through all of your paperwork. I have many thoughts about your situation. But before I tell you what I think, my dear Douglas, assessing where you are right now at 50, wanting to retire in just 17 years from now, if you were going to give yourself a grade, what grade would you give yourself?
Well, Susie, starting out on a positive note, because I work in the school system and mental health field, I would give myself an A- for most improved, but the reality of my situation is I would still have to give myself, at best, a D+.
All right, let's show everybody your finances, and then I'll tell you what I think. You are
Great.
50, you are single. You currently do have $102,000 approximately in your retirement. You have about $10,000 in an emergency fund. You have a home that is in Maine that you are renting out that has a current value of about $206,000. You have consumer debt of $104,000, mortgage debt of $156,000. So total debt is about $260,000. So you have a net worth of about $58,000. How's that feel?
Not so good, but again, I've improved a lot over the past few years.
All right. Currently, you have monthly income take-home of $6,461 a month. You have expenses of $5,605. So you have in excess every single month $856. So are you sitting down?
I am sitting down,
All right,
Susie.
that's
I'm
a
prepared.
good thing. So if I were to give you a grade, I'd give you a D- or an F, because this is the reason why. In answer to your question, how am I doing to be able to retire at 67? Here is what you have going. If you do not change anything other than what you are doing right now, your current expenses are $5,600 a month. And even though I know that your house is going to be paid off in 10 years. I know that your student loan will be forgiven in, let's say, another 7 years. So you have that extra money to invest. Even doing all that, doing exactly what you're doing right now, your after-tax income, including Social Security, will be $4,200. But here's the problem. 17 years from now, when you're no longer working, you should have a long-term care insurance policy. You're going to have to pay for your own medical insurance. So your expenses are going to be right around where they are now, believe it or not. And so therefore, we are $1,400 a month short of your goal if you don't change anything. You still with me?
Right.
Yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
wake-up.
I'm glad I was sitting down.
Yeah, me too, because there's nothing worse than being on the Suze Orman show and all of a sudden hearing this, which is somebody hitting the floor. Okay. So here, however, though, boyfriend, is your way to an A. Currently, you have many items in storage that you are paying for, and you are paying to have them stored. So, for instance, you have a camper costing you $500 a month just to have that camper. You're never going to use it. You are going to sell it. You are taking vacations, $300 a month. You already went all over the world. You need to save this money. You're going to cut it. You're going to increase your Roth IRA. Currently, you're only putting $500 a month in there. You are going to increase it to $541 a month because the max is $6,500 a year now for somebody who is 50 and older. You're going to take your savings that you currently have, and you are going to pay off your credit card debt at 13%. It makes no sense whatsoever to be paying that much in interest rate. Next, you have an extra $856 every month in excess. You're going to put that into your emergency fund until you have at least an 8-month emergency fund, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to start to invest that as well. You are going to sell your home. You're going to sell your home because you have $50,000 of equity in the home, number one. Number two, it is costing you $300 more per month to keep that home than you're getting for rent from that home. And over the next 17 years, don't you think that you are going to need a new roof, a new washer and dryer, a new this, a new that? You don't have the money. So if we could just sell that home now and take that $50,000 along with all these other cuts, which amount to about $2,000 a month, do you know in 17 years from now, after taxes, you are going to have in the $600,000 range. So now you will have $600,000 at the age of 67 that you can use to generate income for you if you want, or you can take that money and buy a house outright. Who knows what you can do? But altogether, if you do that at the age of 67, you will have income of about $6,900 a month, which is something that could get you by, boyfriend. That's your way to an A.